If America is the birthplace of modern consumerism, then 2025 set a whole new bar. We saw viral trends that broke the internet, the widespread popularity and adoption of a whole new kind of financing, a rebirth of blind box mechanics and gambling, and an increase in the intensity of our escapism through consumerism. Because while tariffs and supply chain issues are crippling entire industries and consumer debt is at an all-time high, there seems to be no slowing in the appetite for new stuff. We saw record numbers on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Big players are posting record profits and the stock market is at an all-time high. But everything just feels a little shakier than normal. Like there's cracks under our feet, but if we just keep looking forward, somehow everything is gonna be fine. And in many ways, this has felt like a turning point or an inflection in our consumer story. A wild balance that feels like on one hand, everything could come crushing down at once, but is also somehow ramping up faster than ever before. So today, we are going to be giving you the official 2025 Consumerism Wrapped, and we are going to be breaking down, of course, why everything has happened and what we think is going to be going on into the future. Here is your 2025 Consumerism in Review. So in this video, we are going to be giving you a tier list of all of the craziest trends that have happened this year and how we think they rank. So in our first category, we're going to be talking about consumers consuming consumables. It seems like today, everyone needs a sweet little treat just to get them through the day. You've probably heard of the lipstick theory, the one that dictates that in an economic recession, people are more likely to make smaller, more affordable indulgences rather than bigger and more extravagant ones. Hence, the bottle of lipstick. As we watch the economy shudder and shake underneath our feet and we see more and more people falling through the cracks going into debt, they are running to more consumable things to soften the sting of everyday life or give them the extra push that they need to just keep grinding. I think Zins hit a whole new level.
Well, when we covered Zins, we kind of covered it as an artifact of the 2024 election almost. It was such an integral part to the Republican image, both with the Marjorie Taylor Greene calling for a Zinsurrection and people gifting JD Vance Zin tins when he was doing podcast appearances.
Which was awesome.
Last year, it was a really fringe trend. This year, it's like stayed around. People like hopped on the trend and then got addicted to it. Now it's a ubiquitous thing. I think it's found a lot more mainstream attention.
It's bipartisan now. It's a bipartisan addiction.
Zin is bipartisan, and they created the actually new partisan version of Zins, which is like Tucker Carlson's Alp brand.
They didn't call them Carlsons?
That would have been, yeah, they should have. They should have called them Carlsons. I'm calling for Zin to be put in A tier. I'm skeptical as to if it's reached S level.
I kind of agree.
I also agree. I think this is unanimous.
I think because it is the rebirth of the tobacco industry. Like, I think that this is a backslide in our cultural landscape to a degree I don't think we really even kind of come to understand yet. Like, this is going to be the year where we look back and we're like, yeah, no, we didn't know it then, but that's when it all changed. So Matthew, as a feel-free user, where do you put this weird new substance?
Not as a user.
I used it once.
Because you told him to.
I almost look at Feel Free as a representative of the entire Kratom trend this year. Kind of consolidated around fitness people.
Okay, like a creatine almost.
Yeah, because, well, except like it's a way to get high. People who took Feel Free took it because they want to get high, but they don't want to drink alcohol because it's bloating, because it's bad for building your chiseled body.
I think the difference is Zin actually doesn't impact your life that much, but way more people are doing it. Feel Free's mess your life up tremendously, but realistically, it's just a way smaller demographic.
Feel Free is one Kratom product. We're ranking Feel Free, but I think Kratom products going forward, if it's not regulated, is going to be a way huger problem in 2026.
I think it's B tier right now. It could become A tier in the future if Kratom continues to grow in the way that it looks like it will.
I think this year, Feel Free is B tier. I'll agree with that. I think next year, the next next Kratom product is potentially S tier.
I agree.
We are predicting our downfall. B tier for now, S tier in the future. You got it, feel free. Good job. We've made a number of videos about consumables this year because it seemed to be a category that just delivered. We had huge breakout viral food trends seemingly month after month, and people just couldn't get enough of it.
Protein products kind of took the world by storm in 2025, I think.
Yeah, the so-called healthy protein products.
Like the protein-infused popcorn by Khloe Kardashian, and like Drew Gooden's video also popped off.
We now just accept that random shit has protein in it, and that's just the way it is now. Nobody's questioning it.
It kind of feels like the gluten-free back in the day of like just making everything gluten-free, so it's like a trending food item. I think the next one is gonna be fiber, because everyone's talking about fiber lately. I think it points towards a greater, like, the micro-trendification of food, which is crazy to me, but I do think that by itself, protein as a category, maybe C tier.
We made that video last year about vegan meats. It felt like all of the comments were like, oh yeah, this is like unnatural protein, there's qualities of protein. And then a lot of those same people are like drinking protein matcha latte. I'd honestly say protein is A tier, and I know you're saying C tier, Lou. I don't know.
I only think
what
C
we made
tier
in the
because
middle, guys? I don't want you to fight. It could be a B tier.
I only said C tier because I don't think people are like talking about it as much as we are talking about it, if that makes sense. And I think that's why maybe our video didn't do necessarily as well as others. Like I think as a trend, not necessarily talked about, but popularity wise, which is I guess what we are talking about, it is very popular.
I think as a trend, it's maybe not talked about as much, but as a trend, it's definitely being capitalized on. Like every cereal brand, every drink, every whatever is releasing a protein version. So like it's affecting the grocery store shelves. Maybe not affecting the internet that much. As far as consumer trends, people are buying it.
Gluten became this like polarizing thing. There was like gluten intolerant people, and it became like a punchline to a joke. It was like, oh, let me guess, gluten free, right?
Excuse me? This is gluten free, right? No. What? Ugh, I'd like a refund.
Nobody's protein free. Nobody's anti-protein. There's this kind of just accepted belief that like, well, protein's great. And maybe in the future we will see that people don't feel that way, but right now it's like, it's the most popular thing that no one really even thinks about because there's no drama around it.
I'm happy putting this as a B tier.
I think B tier is accurate for now.
I think like it like ladders from a healthy food standpoint. I think we should talk about poppy.
Would you even call poppy healthy?
I think it's up for debate. I think that's, we can't judge that one just yet. And I think that was the whole point of our video. It's just like, we don't know enough about this, and we definitely don't know enough for all these companies to be advertising it as a healthy thing.
What a lot of products are taking advantage of is being able to say they're healthy because the mainstream alternative is really, really unhealthy.
It's like if you're already an alcoholic who does crack on the weekends, Feel Free is actually a really good alternative.
In the same way that Feel Free as a company is capitalizing off of people defending them because of the very, very small demographic of addicts that are using their product, Poppy is doing the same thing, right? Obviously to a lesser extent, but like that's what we're saying here, right? And so like, is it a healthy alternative because they've infused it with prebiotics? No, it's only a healthy alternative because it has like less sugar in it, but that's not what we're talking about anymore because sugar isn't like a trendy buzzword anymore.
The theme across all of these sort of like stimulants versus healthy foods is like, we've created the worst possible consumer products that people should never eat. And now we're just creating probably equally bad, but framed as slightly better versions, and that is the innovation. It's slightly better than the worst thing that we already invented. And people are like, you know what? I'm already at rock bottom.
We're not listing this because it was last year's trend, but I think that's something that Prime perfected really well. We're exactly like Gatorade. We're exactly like every drink that's already on the market, but we have slightly better...
potassium, dude.
Yeah, we have slightly better macros.
I think Poppy's C tier at most. Or even D tier.
I think D tier.
Nobody's gonna be talking about these in 2 or 3 years, I think.
I think C tier. I'm less on D tier because people actually do consume this stuff.
You don't think it's the bottom of the barrel. I get you. I agree. Let's do C tier.
I think C tier is good.
This is my favorite shift. because we went from like these ideologically motivated food trends where it was like this idea of self-improvement or like making something that's better to just pure novelty, and that is the biggest category of consumables by a landslide this year.
Okay, crumble cookies.
I think of them though, that was probably my favorite from like a story coverage standpoint, because it felt like we actually had something new to talk about. It was like nobody's actually kind of done this before, like a weekly release of something completely absurd.
Yeah, and then the CEO came out as gay. And all the Mormons.
What, dude? That's the craziest pivot.
And then it all came crumbling
And it all
down.
came crumbling down.
This is a crazy one because Crumble is deeply Mormon. It has roots in Mormon culture, Utah-based. And then the CEO comes out as gay. Are people still buying the cookies? Are they still as popular as they were when we made the video about them? Because that was early. Like, we were kind of late to the trend, like, first couple months of 2025. And I would suspect that the hype's definitely down. But, like, if they're still selling, was it like 1 million cookies a year or something? Because here's my prediction. I think that Crumble Cookies was a really impactful trend-setting product. Like, it defined something new that a lot of other companies are going to try to replicate.
You did the Kardashian cookies. How many brand partnerships can you do before people are just like,
Over the cookies.
you know, I want the next thing?
Yeah, they did Dubai chocolate. They did boba.
And that was kind of its strength, was being able to jump on novelty food trends. It was a novelty food trend, but it was able to kind of passively absorb other novelty food trends that came along the way.
Is this company going to last long term? Is this something that they can truly keep up into the future? I don't think so. Like, a weekly cookie drop is only interesting for a season or two, and then you're like, you know what, I actually don't need a cookie the size of my face with 800 calories and more sugar than I need in an entire day. I'd say C-list, honestly.
I think it was a flash in the pan.
I would say B tier because of how it did this year, but next year I think it's not even like going to be in the conversation. I'll be cool with B tier, but I if it were my list, I would put it at A tier.
Wow, okay, Mormon frickin'...
Mormon apologist.
It was a big deal this year. I mean, like, I
think it was.
We're saying it's not because we're on the second half of the year, but if we were doing this ranking in July, we would say Crumble Cookie is S tier.
Okay,
That's true.
I think B is fair. I
I'm
think
cool with
B is fair.
I'll split the middle with you.
There is a lot of products in this category. Crumble was just one of them, and as we just mentioned, they became a vessel for the following three trends. Dubai chocolate, I think, is probably the least impactful of the following three.
I disagree.
I don't think so either.
I disagree hard. I think maybe you can say that about the original chocolate bar. Maybe it didn't have as big an impact as people were making it out to be. But other brands were co-opting it. Other stores, other products were co-opting it. People were doing Dubai chocolate flavored ice cream. Like, this is the perfect example of a food trend blowing up for no other reason other than it looks good on social media.
Yeah, and I think the existence of the Dubai chocolate matcha labubu meme, just that puts it up in the rankings.
We're gonna put it right alongside Crumble Cookie. I don't think it can't go higher
I'm
than
gonna
Crumble
put
Cookie.
it-
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about it being next to Crumble Cookies, and that just doesn't feel right to me.
I would put it next to crumble cookies for sure.
I was gonna put this on D. I was literally gonna put this as D tier, as like the lowest possible trend.
Okay, let's do C tier. C for chocolate.
C for chocolate instead of D for Dubai.
I think matcha was a breakout year. I think this was a breakout year for the like coffee competitor world. For the first time, it's like, oh shit, people will choose matcha over coffee. Nothing has done that up to this point. I think it's B or even A tier.
I say S tier.
I'm an S tier matcha.
I'm an S tier matcha.
Fuck, dude. Green drink gets S tier, dude?
I think so. Because of Starbucks, it had a venue in every city in America and across the world. The story of matcha in 2025 is the story of really shitty matcha, you know?
I think also because I am the official meme reporter, matcha was not only in the Dubai chocolate labubu matcha meme, but also in performative male memes. All of the performative males were drinking matcha. So not one, but two Huge memes in 2025, that's S tier to me.
I would have gone A, but I think S tier is potentially valid because of where it landed. It's still relevant. And this is why I think boba was so interesting. We released this video about boba with the kind of feeling that it existed in the same world as matcha, and based on the performance alone of those two videos side by side, the proof is in the pudding. Nobody gives a shit about boba. It's a popular thing, people drink it. It is culturally irrelevant in comparison to other beverages for some reason.
I was genuinely, like, people were acting like we made a video on like sourdough bread. People had assumed that this had reached such a level of cultural ubiquity that it's not even worth discussing its growth and its impact.
I think it's similar to protein in the sense that there's maybe just not enough polarity around it. It came into being so gracefully and sort of gradually that no one was like, hey, what the hell is this weird drink with bubbles in it? They were just sort of slowly developing a familiar relationship with it over time. And that's not viral, that's not huge. I think it still ranks above Dubai chocolate.
Highly disagree. I think it shouldn't even be on a tier list for 2025. It wasn't a trend at all in 2025. I'm ranking it D tier.
I actually kind of agree, yeah.
Okay, you went from B to D. I was gonna say C. There was a little bit of my Labubu was drinking boba, but I agree that it was only a trend framed by other trends.
I want to love boba. I want boba to be more than what it is, but I think it's definitely a C tier. Another absolutely undeniable trend that shaped 2025 was the rise of risk. Gambling, gamification, blind boxes, debt services, speculative markets. There has never been an easier time in history to get access to money that you don't actually have, but also more ways to gamble that money away. People are just willing to take bigger risks than ever, and that desperation is driving growth in all the wrong places. This was like the year where we just decided to say, fuck it, I'm putting it all on black or on my black credit card. Let's just buy a fucking Labubu. We should make 1 or 2 more videos about this to really milk the trend.
I think we'll need to. I think we'll need to do maybe our first channel movie review once the Sony Pictures Labubu movie comes out.
In the Labubu video, we called it the biggest trend of 2025. Do we stand by that? Is this our S tier?
I do stand by that.
I think it is.
I think so.
I also do.
In our last video, we were thinking, does it have the staying power to keep all these Pop Marts open? Labubu had a moment this year which proves to me that it's going to stay for a very long time. And it's not growth numbers, it's not how much it's sold, it's not its stock price. I think the one telltale sign in America that something is going to stick around is that it had its own satanic panic. Dungeons & Dragons had its own satanic panic in the 90s, True. And we are still on Dungeons & Dragons. We did not ever hop off of that.
No.
There were so many people saying, I got this Labubu, and then I started getting bad luck. It turns out it's connected to Satan, or it's a pagan idol.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
There are people who theorize on TikTok that Labubu is an idol of the Mesopotamian demon Pazuzu. Or there are other people saying that because it's based on Norse creatures, that it's a pagan idol, and it's and in the Bible it's said to destroy all pagan idols.
What I thought you were gonna say was like people were angry because this was like a communist China takeover.
Not even. People are less angry about the China thing than they are about the demon spiritual stuff that they're connecting it to.
I think that a similar level of conspiracy that I have is that this is a symbolic shift in cultural significance from US power to Chinese power. And this is something we talked about in the Labubu video. I think that this is one of the turning points where people are no longer skeptical of Asian cultures anymore. Like there used to be a real hesitance to like buy into things that were foreign. And Labubu is like the biggest thing that happened this year. And it's a blatantly Chinese company with a pretty, I don't know if you can say this, but like stereotypically Asian sort of appeal. And it's massive, it's huge. And I think it's just going to get bigger from there. So I think Labubu is S tier, baby. Put it up there with matcha, another Asian product.
Asians are up in 2025.
Asians are up.
Okay,
2026,
Lou, you can't
Asians
say
way
that.
up.
That's crazy.
Way up.
2026 is the Chinese year.
We have Labubu and Starbucks Bear Cup as two components of scarcity marketing as a category, but Starbucks was like definitely the one who stole the idea. Starbucks said, what if we made a cup that kind of looked like a Labubu, sold like 25 of them nationwide, and then just capitalized off the chaos?
Allegedly, we gotta save our own butts here. We don't know for sure that they tried to employ scarcity marketing tactics. They said that they thought that they released enough of them.
There is an argument for this being ranked higher in the sense that it is representative of Starbucks's sort of faltering position in the world of consumerism, like whether or not Starbucks is as relevant as it was in the past is symbolized by this bear. But I think that it's potentially D tier in the sense that like the hype's over and it happened like 2 weeks ago.
I think this might be a D tier because
I
think
also agree with that.
I think this was a 1 week trend. This was a trend that literally happened for 1 week at the end of the year. I think if next year Starbucks was like, yo, you guys, we're bringing the Bear Cup back, I think nobody cares.
No.
Yeah,
100%.
I think D tier.
I guess the rise of risk is about money ceasing to make sense, I think. Is the what really shifted this year is like the concept that we had for money has always been sort of fractured and disconnected from real life. And now it is just getting more and more abstract and harder to actually quantify and feel like you have a solid understanding of what money is and what it means and how to use it properly and effectively. And there's so many apps that came out this year that symbolize that exactly.
Like what?
Keep talking, bitch.
It's like Lou's never had a conversation before.
Like which apps?
I think it's one thing if it's a series of apps. The fact that they're on every checkout page for like every website now is maybe like a further sign that we have consolidated all of our payment options around the same couple of like services, around the shop service, around PayPal, and that it's really easy for a trend like buy now, pay later to just buy into a couple different companies and then be on every single checkout page for every online purchase ever.
They immerse themselves so thoroughly, so quickly. Like a car company can't become ubiquitous and so overwhelming so quickly because they have to physically make the thing. Like Crumble Cookies was surprisingly popular because they launched so many stores in such a short amount of time and they produce so many cookies. But the scale of these apps is at a completely different level because there's nothing that they have to build. The software and the financial back end just needs to be connected to some sort of banking system, which is all facilitated because the banking world loves this shit because it makes them so much money. Like there's so much money going into stealing poor people's money.
I will say that like Affirm and Klarna and Afterpay and all these companies, like these apps, they didn't start in 2025. They've been around for a really long time. But one thing that did happen in the last year was what we're talking about right now, that ubiquity, the being able to like Klarna or Afterpay or Burrito or whatever that headline was that, you know, and we covered within our video, right, the concept of like you can buy now, pay later groceries and all of these other things which were available before, but they're just becoming so much more popular and people are really opening their eyes to the damages that this can do to people's personal finances, right? I don't know where I'm gonna put it in the tier list.
I think A tier. I think A tier for this one.
I think Klarna for sure is A tier because of also its impact, like the amount of people's lives that are gonna get fucked up by this. Kalshi, terrible name.
It sounds like a cereal. It launched in 2021, but I feel like it got a particular bump with the 2024 election. I think it's kind of riding a general gambling deregulation trend that's allowing it to exist. I don't know if it has the staying power to survive. I think all it takes is
a couple of regulatory,
a minor concerted force to look into it and realize that it's doing terrible things to the people who are using it. I do think the people who created it have incredibly big ideas for where this could go.
The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion.
Oh yeah, dude, I frickin' saw this quote. The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference of opinion. He said it with complete conviction, zero sarcasm. I think it's gonna be great when we can gamble away our money on any difference of opinion. Like, that doesn't create a perfectly divisive wedge between people. The potential ramifications of gambling in general, ubiquity to the level that it's at right now, is massive. But Kalshi in particular, I think, is really, really potentially devastating. Because we have both Kalshi and DraftKings. I feel like they could almost go at the same tier. I feel like they're almost all at A tier for me.
I think Kalshi is more damaging for us culturally, but it's not as ubiquitous yet. I think DraftKings is mostly just damaging financially, but it has much greater ubiquity. I think they're different conversations.
Maybe Kalshi is at B right now and gambling was big this year, or maybe even flip that. I don't know. I can't go below B.
I was going to rank Kalshi as a C for 2025 with the expectation that in 2026 it could possibly be very much higher.
Yeah, like I don't actually know how many people use Kalshi. Like it may be like a thing that hits a lot of headlines, you know, like people are betting on the color of so-and-so's hair or whatever, you know, like it's...
Yeah. That's what I've seen the most.
How these things start is people have a general idea of it and they're like, this is a platform for degenerate gamblers.
Right. It's going to be a niche group already.
And suddenly, a year or two later, it's not so niche anymore.
Like DraftKings is. Like, I think DraftKings, yeah.
I think DraftKings is A, Kalshi is B or C, with the potential that that might change. Because we know the numbers. We know that gambling on sports has really fucked up people's lives. Like, we have those numbers already.
I'm happy with DraftKings as A and Kalshi as B.
Yeah,
Okay.
Me too.
But hey, we might be all going into debt, but at least we got a bunch of cool 2025 tech products along the way, right? Not really. Now, weirdly, 2025 was a very big year for tech. Like, tech companies have gone on to become the biggest on the stock market to an absolutely mind-boggling degree, mostly due to AI. But on the consumer side, while it seems like we have the best technology that we've ever had to this point, we're getting products that no one asked for. The iPhone announcement was as mediocre as ever. Foldable phones, I guess, technically exist now, and smart glasses are finally a mainstream item that anyone can buy, but for some pretty obvious reason, nobody wants to own.
I think smart glasses are not really going to be something that we continue to talk about in the future. It'll be like very much the Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses are a 2025 piece of a wearable. If you are in pictures with that thing, people will be able to trace that picture back to 2025.
I think the Meta Ray-Bans, I think that's my perfect D tier. The only way it's scary is if a lot of people use it and nobody wants to use it.
I don't think people are using it. I think that there was a big push, like when we made that video, they were like bragging about how they sold 2 million units. And like that could have been fake. Like we don't even know if that really kind of rolled out or if all those glasses are just sitting in people's drawers now or something. There's two real fundamental problems with it. One is the cultural association. Like it is a little weird to have cameras on your face. And B, like, it's just not fashionable. Who wants to wear glasses if they don't need them? Like they're an objectively kind of annoying thing to have on your face if you're not like needing them to see.
And I do think that there was a fair amount of like pushback and backlash on the internet. Like I think the digital surveillance conversation got kind of big as a result of the Meta Ray-Bans. I remember seeing TikToks of people being like, this guy posted this video of me that he took with the Ray-Ban sunglasses on. I didn't know that I was being recorded during that entire conversation. That kind of back and forth on the internet, I think really pushed people away from the entire idea of like covert forms of recording people.
Hopefully this trend dies. I want it to be D tier, so I'm gonna rank it as D tier because Fuck Meta, dude.
I think it is D-tier. I don't think it lasts. I think we tried this
Yeah.
with the Google Glass. I don't think people have better opinions of tech now than they did back then. My only question is, who are they making tech for now? I don't know a single person who would use any of the new tech products that came out in the last like 5 years.
Dude, 100%. But undoubtedly, of course, the biggest story of 2025 is AI. It has shaped pretty much every single aspect of our consumer world without really doing anything awesome in the process.
I actually thought, like, if we had made this video a year ago, I think AI probably would have been pretty high. Even then, I would have said AI is at least A tier. In 2025, it needs to be S tier. This is the one thing that you can't escape in 2025. It is one of the most talked about things ever.
And I would say it's not even in the consumerism category. Like, this list has crumble cookies in it, and we're gonna put AI on the same fucking list. But it is a product. It is so, like, it goes across all boundaries. It goes across all categories. It is the all-encompassing thing that everybody's so freaked out about right now. It has to be S tier.
There is theoretically a tier list inside of this one item of specifically AI products of the year.
100%.
Yeah, again, to put it on the same list of crumble cookies, it feels like we're like ranking the delivery truck, you know? It's just like something that a lot of companies use.
The consumer side of AI has been dog shit. There has not been an AI facilitated product that I've seen this year that has made anyone's life better, and we have been hearing about it so non-stop the entire year. There's nothing as talked about and as useless and as categorically awful as AI, and it has to exist for some reason because we have so much money put into it.
And with as much pushback as well, like all these, all these companies are spending all of their advertising money on AI for some reason, and their entire user base are like, what are you doing? We never asked for this. We don't want this,
They've made it mindless consumption because every time you do a Google search, it gives you an AI summary that is incorrect and unhelpful, but you are forced to see it and you are forced to acknowledge it, at least in some way. And that's horrendous. And so, yeah, it has to be S tier. And we should probably make a whole video about it. What on earth we would call that video, what we would say in it other than this, I have no idea. But if anybody wants to see that, like, why everyone hates AI as a video is like such a cold take. Now, as we talked about in our call, AI as a product or a consumer trend is almost hard to wrap your head around because it is so big. Like, it's not really even in this category, but it also can't be avoided and it can't be ignored in this breakdown because it has had such a huge impact. But probably one of the most positive things that I've seen from this big AI bubble that we're living in right now is a resurgence of interest in analog living. People going back to the 90s, pulling out their CD players, whipping out the DVD player, and living like the internet doesn't exist, at least some part of the time. I've personally done this. There's been viral videos about it on the internet, and you do see some trends resurging for CDs and DVD sales and for in-person events where people get to connect with each other instead of relying on these digital environments for connectivity. The final trend for 2025 that I think is, like, I'm putting way too much weight and energy on the offline movement. Like, I really want this to succeed so bad. I think it is a trend. I think we can call it a trend. I think we can call it a story within the 2025 year. I want to rank it around B. I don't think we can really rank it any higher than that because realistically, how many people are truly minimizing digital use in their life and trying to live more IRL?
I think this is another one that we rank low for this year, but I think it's a growing thing because I think it's a counterweight to AI. I think it's
right.
I think it's a counterweight to enshittification. I think it's a counterweight to everything that's making platforms we really liked worse. I'm kind of tuned into a lot of people who are getting off of platforms like Squarespace and GoDaddy and stuff like that for web design and just being like, I'm going to learn HTML and create a shitty website because that's better than than creating an AI website or whatever AI template that it comes up with. I think people are willing to deal with imperfect tech experiences because nobody is having a good time with the perfect streamlined 2025 tech experiences that we have.
Yeah, dude, that like kind of makes me want to tear up almost. You know, that's really nice. I think the best possible business strategy, if you were in the real world right now and you had like a company, you start like a shoe repair business or like a bakery, and you and like your 2-year-old kid go out and draw a shoe on a piece of white paper, and you write shoe repair on the bottom of it, and then you tape it to the window of your shop, and that's how people find your business, because they're like, that's a fucking human. Look at the human that made that shit right there. That's what I want.
I want to pitch it at A tier because this was the year of DJs in coffee shops doing morning DJ sets. This is the year of the Run Club. This is the year of people putting like, I quit social media for 30 days, let's see what happens kind of videos on the internet. And that's always been a thing, but they've been really, really popular in 2025. And I think because of that, like the idea of people going offline or analog should be higher on the tier list for sure.
I really don't think that we are going to see a more balanced world. I think you're gonna find people that are incredibly online, that are super isolated, that are really baked into that system. And then there's going to be people who just realize that for their own mental well-being have to do the opposite. They have to get offline. They have to go out and like touch grass all the time in order to keep themselves stable. And I mean, thank God we have both. Like, thank God we have the option still.
Listen, 2026 manifesto, we're gonna put analog in A tier. 2026, we gotta swap AI and analog. We have to drag everyone kicking and screaming.
Yes.
To a more physical.
Analog information. That's what AI stands for now.
Yes, we're going from AI to AI.
The branding sucks. It's really hard to understand.
We gotta substitute every piece of streamlined, like do it for you, have 20 employees at once for no extra charge. We need to blow that up. 2026, I want to see data centers closing because there's no market demand for them.
100%, dude.
Hell yeah.
The IRL movement, I think it's like one of the only hopes that we have. The bubble for AI that we're all worried about, that we're all watching continuously expand, consuming everything in its wake. The only way that doesn't continue is if we all just detract from it. It is a part of the attention economy. This whole stress cycle that we're in is there facilitated because we keep tuning in, because we keep watching the horrors happen over and over and over, live stream 24 hours a day. The more that we go and like spend time with our local run club or whatever, the less energy that those things are going to occupy in our world. Thank you for watching to the end of the video, and if you have a quick second, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has supported this channel through the hardest year, I think, in my entire YouTube career. It has been a real roller coaster, and if it wasn't for the people who show up here every single week to watch our content, to like, to engage, to contribute to our Patreon, or, I don't know, support us in whatever way they can, I don't know where I would be in my life. So a huge thank you to all of you for supporting myself and Lou and Matthew and the project that we are working on here on this channel. And after a quick 2-week break at the beginning of January, we will be seeing you for our regularly scheduled weekly uploads all through 2026. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next year.